Good morning, students. Let's do a topic on carrier sense multiple access. In this lecture, we'll be doing about the carrier sense multiple access collision detection and collision avoidance. In the last lecture, we have done about one persistence, non-persistence, and p-persistence. We have seen that one persistence, we see that the channel is always sensed, and then when the channel is free, you see that the station can send the frame. Whereas in non-persistence, the channel will be sensed at the random wait time period. So the station can send only when it finds that the channel is free at its random time. Whereas in P persistence, you see that the time period is of equal interval of time. So it is called a slotted time period. And then we see the channel will be sensed based on the time period. Whenever the channel is free, you see that it will be, the station can send the frame into the channel. Now let's see what is CSMA CD. In this, if two stations sense the channel to be idle and begin transmission, so they both detect the collision immediately. Earlier in the last class, we have seen how the collision will take place. Even if the frame doesn't reach to the end of the receiver, you see that it may hit one of the station. Now, rather than finishing transmitting their frames, which are retrieval garble anyway, they should abruptly stop transmitting as soon as the collision is detected. Now, assume that there are 4 stations. Now, let's see this figure once again. We have 4 different stations and A is trying to transmit the particular frame into the channel once the channel is sent free. B also senses the channel, and if it wants to send any of the frame, it will send. Assume that C is trying to sense, and because the channel according to C is free, as the A frame has not yet reached near to C. So it thinks the C station thinks that the channel is free, and immediately when it sends the frame into it, you see that there is a collision which occurs. So here what it says is, whenever there is a frame which try to collide each other, you see that the transmission should be stopped immediately as soon as there is a collision detection. Now that by the time the frame of A reaches to the corner of the channel and C tries to send a frame from C station, you see that there is a collision of C first bit and first bit of A. So this is what happens. Once it detects the collision, you see that it has to stop the transmission. Quickly terminate damaged frames. It saves time and bandwidth. This protocol is called as carrier sense multiple access collision detection and widely happens or used in LANs in MAC sub layer. Now here we see that at T time T1 we have A which is trying to send the frame, and then by T4 also you see that the frame did not reach the channel's end. But at T2 you see that transmission of C frame takes place, and at T3 you see that there is a collision of 2 frames, the first bit of A frame and the first bit of C frame. So by T4 you see there is a collision which takes place. Now coming to a flow chart, you can see that we try to start K is equal to 0. K is nothing but the number of atoms. Apply one of the persistent methods. We have different persistent methods: one persistent, non-persistent, and p-persistent. Take one of the persistence method, apply it. Now transmission is done or collision detected. Once you say it is yes, then the collision is detected. If it is no, it means that the frame has been transmitted and it's received by the receiver side. The collision is detected, yes, due to jam signal, then what we need to do is we need to attempt one more attempt, that is k plus 1. So immediately it goes into k plus 1, that is the counter is increased. Next, we are trying to check whether k is greater than k of maximum. Okay, then we choose a random number between 0 to 2 to the power of minus 2 to the power of k minus 1. Wait, TB time. TB is nothing but R into T of tot into T of transmission. So this is what is the flow chart. Now coming to the next one. The CSMA with collision detection. The user wishes to transmit. So here what we see is it listens to see if the channel is free. If the channel is idle, it transmits. If the channel is busy, it keeps listening until the channel is free.